Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Michael Milligan. I'm the Executive Director and CEO of ABET, which is the accrediting body for applied sciences, computing, engineering, and engineering technology in the United States and in many other countries around the world. Today, however, I'm going to be representing IFEES, which is the International Federation of Engineering Education Societies. ABET has been a member of IFEES for a number of years, and I've been involved at the executive committee level for a few of those years as well. My talk today is to talk about these proposed updates to the IEA benchmarks, and specifically in the areas of diversity and inclusion. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you so you can follow along. As I mentioned, I'm representing IFEES, and I just want to say a few words about IFEES. IFEES' mission is to advance and advocate for engineering education engineers around the world, primarily through leveraging the strengths of our members and stakeholders. Okay, so this statement in itself kind of hints to this idea of not just diversity, but also inclusion. So very much support any advances in this area, especially with these proposed changes to the IEA graduate attributes and professional competencies. Membership, 53 societies, 11 industry partners, representatives based in 29 countries, so purely a global organization. Again, everyone's focused on improving the quality of the educational experience and education in general in engineering around the world. I'm going to talk about diversity and inclusion again, and we want to make sure we think about ways how we can encourage students to work in diverse teams, inclusive teams, how we can communicate in that manner, how we can comply with certain requirements, and how we are paying attention to the environment and legal issues as well. My highlights are going to be in yellow for discussion, so I just wanted to touch on that. And as we go through the details. First, I just wanted to talk about the SDGs. We all know about the SDGs. I don't need to get to talk about what they are or why we have them, but my point is that to me, the diversity, inclusion, and the importance of creating diverse and inclusive teams of technical professionals is critical in achieving these goals. And so I don't believe we'll be successful in achieving these goals without, again, a strong D&I sort of makeup. And the way to start this, of course, is at the undergraduate level when students are in our programs, and we can help them practice good D&I, for lack of a better word, best practices. So getting into the details now, I want to talk about the range of conflicting requirements and the extent of stakeholder involvement in conflicting requirements in this first area of range of problem solving. And the idea of range of conflicting requirements is as we determine requirements, certainly if we are looking at from one point of view, it's highly likely that we won't either understand the full set of requirements, or those with differing points of view might actually have conflicting view of the requirements. So building strong, diverse teams of individuals that have the ability to look at things from a different point of view and then converge on sound solutions is going to be obviously important. Anytime we see the words sustainability, economic, social, that should be a key to us to think, okay, how can we improve the experience of students to get them focused on, again, building diverse and inclusive teams. The extent of stakeholder involvement in conflicting requirements, of course, here we're talking about encouraging problems that require collaboration across a large number of engineering disciplines. And so each one of those disciplines is likely to have a different sort of view of things, different experiences, and certainly getting multidisciplinary teams to come up with good, sound solutions to complex problems that will impact everyone's daily lives and so forth is going to require this opportunity to draw on people's differing experiences and viewpoints and so forth. So again, an opportunity to introduce D&I in these areas. Range of resources, we talk about including diverse resources. Okay, so right there you see that there's emphasis on especially people, data, information, natural, financial, physical, and appropriate technologies. But think about the people part, because that's where we have an opportunity to, again, to encourage this idea of diversity. And diversity takes on many forms. It's not just ethnicity, gender, race. It could be a multitude of things that include people's professional experience, their socioeconomic upbringing, their age, how much experience they have, et cetera, et cetera. So really taking advantage and leveraging diversity and making sure people feel included as part of those teams that will develop are going to be critically important to again to solving complex problems. All right, so the next one, level of interactions. Again, you see this idea of encouraging the impact of wider, not just technical issues, but non-technical issues. So you see this socio-technical solutions, and anytime you see again that idea of society or social issues, you really need to think about again the kinds of teams that we're going to be developing to solve those kinds of problems. And again, it's going to be best addressed by those that are that come from diverse backgrounds. Knowledge and attitude profile, you'll see here the idea of developing this sense for responsibility, professional responsibility of the public safety, and advancing the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. And then again, economic, environmental, social benefits for all. So again, an appreciation for how our responsibility to everyone, not just certain types of people or certain groups of people or certain pockets of individuals and countries and so forth, but everyone. It's going to require, again, this idea that people automatically think about the diversity of not just the individuals that are going to design solutions, but the people that are going to be impacted down the road. Ethics, ethical attitude and behavior, awareness and ability to work in diverse teams by, again, right here, ethnicity, gender, age, physical ability, etc., with mutual understanding, respect for all. So if we can accomplish this, where students actually walk out of our programs with this really keen understanding, awareness, and internalization even of the need to work on diverse teams, and diversity takes on many forms, right? And make sure people feel included. So there's this idea of inclusiveness. I think certainly we will have made great strides in building preparing students to be very successful. All right, engineering and society, the graduate attributes profiles here. We talk about sustainable development, stakeholder consultation, and again, this is going to require, as it says here in the notes, ability to consult with a stakeholder from a wide cross-section of society. And in order to do that, again, you have to have this, it's a diverse cross-section, and so you have to have this concept of an appreciation for diversity and inclusion, again, not just on your teams, but the people that you're working with as well. The human, social, economic, and environmental impacts. Again, we talk about the human, social, economic, social impact to our customers, our end users, if you will. And so having the ability to evaluate these on people, and they come from all walks of life and from all areas of the world, again, is going to be a requirement to be successful in coming up with good solutions and achieving these SDGs. Our next one, individual and collaborative teamwork, role and diversity of the team. Of course, we talk about inclusiveness right here, that teams don't just diversify for the sake of diversifying, but also make sure that people appreciate the fact that their contributions are important to the team, appreciated, and feel that they're part of the team. So inclusivity is going to be as important as building a diverse team. You have to make sure everyone feels that they're part of the solution. And it talks about long distance settings, and I think this is especially true nowadays because so much of our work is done, remotely through electronic means, just like we're doing today. And so paying attention to that, I think, is something that we probably haven't done most recently, but we'll start to do that now, I think, more than ever. Communication, of course, that's critically important because people communicate in different ways, especially if they come from different cultures, different parts of the world. They have a different kinds of backgrounds, not just languages, but again, maybe their education and whatnot. But nonetheless, to communicate effectively, we have to make sure that we're considering not just my communications in my normal way, but how my communications might be interpreted by others. And so again, this idea of diverse audiences and thinking about that is going to be important. Okay, professional competency profiles. We talked a little bit about here about the applying local knowledge, and in this case, I guess the key changes are going to be in the eliminating the gender specificity. So you'll see in the introductory, those two introductory paragraphs or sentences, it talks about he, she, and so we want to make sure we get rid of that because there could be some individuals that don't identify with a specific gender, and so we don't want to discriminate or make them feel that they're not part of the of our teams and so forth. So we want to eliminate those where possible. Communication and collaboration, again, taking out the gender specificity here, again, to make it more inclusive. That's what we're after. And then, in this last one, continuing professional development, again, let's think about this gender neutral type of reference to make sure that people, again, feel that they're included. Adding the gender specificity doesn't really do there's nothing specific to a need to do that. There's nothing positive about that. So let's eliminate it. So with that, one last one, judgment. Again, talking about social, economic, environmental. Again, great opportunity, but we need to talk about diversity, but we need to make sure that we can eliminate this gender specific references from the descriptions. And I think that's pretty straightforward to do. And so we'll, again, make a recommendation. And that's pretty much the summary of the changes that we're going to recommend in this area. And so I'd like to thank you for attending this webinar. And certainly if you have any questions on any of this, please bring that back to us as indicated in the communications. So thanks very much, and have a great day.